What's going on?
That's not
Oh,
what
there it
want.
is. Hopefully it got the beginning of the show.
Okay, well.
Let me see if it pops up on your YouTube channel when you're looking at YouTube over there. You got anything?
No, I still don't.
Oh, it just popped up here on my. So we're definitely live now.
Okay.
I don't know if it got the intro to the
Oh,
show.
yeah, I got it.
Did the intro of the show pop up?
I don't know. I just see us. Who knows? More cool. Monday technical difficulties.
Cool.
But as you can see, we're both decked out in our NFL finest because this is NFL draft week, baby. And this is like a holiday week. The whole week, it's like a holiday. Just building up to the draft. I don't know how many times I've said this to you or on this show in years past, but I will tell you there is nothing I enjoy more as far as a non-athletic sporting event than the NFL draft.
Cool.
It's just so much fun. I used to, when this was Saturday. And
wait for it. Surge came on and said, start over. So here we go.
Start over.
Yep, here it is. This is for you, Surge.
Play ball.
Okay. Sorry.
Blue 22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts
there you
live
go.
on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bri Man.
There you go. You get a double intro. Or maybe not. Maybe there wasn't actually. There really just was not an original one. So
there's the intro. This is our show. We have it's a episode 266. We are here live on YouTube on April 26th. Monday morning, 9-ish a.m. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the NFL draft. We're going to be doing our mock draft today. And this is where Bri Man and I are going to alternate picks, top 10 picks. He gets one, I get one. We don't know yet because we're going to flip for it and see who gets one. And then we're going to go through.
Still don't know who's going first.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the pressure of this because I've been doing all these PFN simulator mock drafts and there's no pressure,
hey.
You know, although I will tell you, I'm so weird. This is how weird I am. Like when I'm doing these PFM simulators, sometimes in my head I say, okay, this is the real draft. You have to get it right. Or Dolphin fans will scorn you. Like I say in my head, this one right here. Like sometimes I'll do like, oh, this one's just practice. And then I'll do one and I'll be like, this one's for real. And if you screw it up, if you don't get this guy and that guy, Dolphin fans are going to skewer you on Twitter forever. And I
put out onto the street.
Like I literally try to apply Michael Jordan pressure to myself when I'm doing some of these drafts, just to try to create a sense of urgency where there absolutely is none.
I do. I love it. I think that's amazing.
But I am looking for. I can't wait for Thursday though. I can't wait for Thursday. It's just like I said, man.
You know me. I'm not a huge. I don't love the draft just because I never loved
so much.
I don't love the baseball draft. I don't like any of the drafts.
No, I don't like
college sports.
Baseball draft. I don't like any draft except for the NFL. Baseball draft is boring. Oh my god, it's terrible.
They started to do it a little bit better, but
they're trying, but it's just not. It's not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not the same. The NFL has made a production of this for so many years and has done it right. And you know that coming from me as baseball is my first love, kind of fan. To sit here and tell you that the NFL's product is superior by far, especially in terms of the draft.
That's what I was going to say. It's a far more popular sport because they have figured out a way to make a long, boring game very fun by using all of the breaks because they play like 12 to 14 minutes of actual football in 3 hours.
Right.
So they have so many opportunities to throw in all these different clips and analyze everything in between and in between pitches, which seems like it takes forever. Yes. Like if you ask the average, like they always say, that's the average fan, like baseball takes forever. You know, they throw the ball and it takes forever for like a run to happen. And all that. That's what they don't actually care about every single pitch that's thrown.
Yeah.
Whereas like your hardcore baseball fan loves every single pitch and likes the back and forth, like I'm going to throw a little outside, a little slider away, I'm going to cut you up and in, like all of that kind of stuff that is it's a chess, it's a chess match.
Yeah.
But football seems like it's incredibly fast paced because of the downtime that they have to be able to fill it all in with all of this analyzing of the game. So it makes it seem a lot faster, which is great for football.
Yep.
And I hope they are able to do something like that with baseball. But
the draft is the ultimate non-athletic sporting event, though. It really is for people like me who just consume that part of the game. And I love, listen, I like the X's and O stuff, but I love to watch film and highlights of college players. I really like to piece it all together as we approach draft day, which again is this Thursday. I will be watching on NFL Network because I refuse to watch ESPN anymore. ESPN is just a poverty network. I really can't even. I don't remember the last time I turned on ESPN. It must have been out of necessity to watch an NFL game, because otherwise I don't even watch it. Plus I can't stand Mike Greenberg, especially after the bullshit he pulled a couple of years ago with, accusing the Dolphins of all the shit that he accused them of. Tanking not being the least of the most egregious things that he was saying about them, but I have never forgiven him. As you may have seen from time to time in some of my tweets, I refuse to let him off the hook until he apologizes to the Dolphins, which of course he never will. But he wasn't the only person. There were a lot of people a few years ago who accused the Dolphins of doing a lot more than tanking. Steve Young, who now is actually on Twitter, and I like to rip into him every chance I get. I think Dominique Foxworth was another one. I just like to attack these guys and just never let them know that Dolphin fans, we never forget anything. We are a ruthless bunch. Ask Peter Schrager, who just a couple weeks ago did his mock draft and had Rashawn Slater go to the Dolphins, and he felt the wrath of Dolphin Nation after that one. So yeah, it's a fun NFL draft, man. It is a fun, and it's what's great about it.
The thing with Schrager, though, the thing with Schrager is he doesn't give what he thinks is going to happen. He gets in touch with all of his people.
Oh, no, I know.
And this is where he is getting – this is what he thinks is going to happen.
But this is what leads into the point that I was actually just about to make, is that, honestly, all of these predictions, this conjecture, all of the thoughts that these people have, it's just a big joke. It's the biggest smokescreen in sports. The weeks leading up to the NFL, the months leading up to the NFL draft is the biggest smokescreen ever. Because honestly, outside of the first two picks, I have no idea what's happening between 3 to 10. And you're going to see probably a lot of that scuffling when we're making our mocks, because I really don't. Honestly, I think I know. Trevor Lawrence is going 1. Zack Wilson's probably going 2. Beyond that, dude, I honestly don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get it. Let's do a couple things first. So, first things first. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Give us a little bit of a like if you haven't already. This will help let you know when we go live, because we do. We go live every Monday, which is, very set in stone, around 9:00. And, but the thing is I do release the rest of a lot of the shows, because I know a lot of people can't sit here for an hour and listen to the whole show, but I do release several of the clips of the show throughout the week. So that this way, if there's a particular topic that you wanted to listen to or whatever, or you wanted to see, you can just click on it, and they're all saved and all archived. And, I'm trying to do it by year and everything like that as well. So very easily found on YouTube at Sports and Sorts. But we have a lot of things to talk about today. I had mentioned we're going to talk a little bit of the state of the Yankees. Bri Man wants to talk about the Oscars briefly. I did not watch the Oscars because, honestly, I didn't really watch many new movies last year, so I didn't really have much.
Would you like me to cover that quickly now?
Not yet, but in a second.
All right.
And then we'll get into, after the state of the Yankees, we'll get into the NFL mock draft. We're going to go. We haven't decided who's going to go first yet, me or the Bri Man. And then we're going to alternate picks. And so we're each going to get 5 picks. He's going to get 5 picks, but we're going to, potentially, I suppose, trades could even be made, but I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to do that, because you could say, I want to trade this pick for this pick, and I'll give you this many picks. Do you accept? And we have 90 seconds, because that's all we're getting 90 seconds to make our pick and why we made our pick, to try and keep this thing rolling fast. So we got that, and then we're going to get into some finales. We're going to get into particularly the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, their season finale. I want to give a kind of an overall rating on that season. And then we're going to get into, I watched the Mortal Kombat movie. Did you watch it?
I did too.
So we both watch it. We'll give our ratings on that as well.
Sure.
And then I think that's probably it. And then
the OFN, Adam Sandler.
Oh, and the Adam Sandler movies. Yes, OFN, the Once Forever Never. We're going to do that. We can also, and then we'll spin the wheel at the end, the Wheel of Destiny. We added So I added to the OFN Emily Blunt movies.
You son of a bitch. I will have so much fun researching that.
Melissa, I have to watch the sexy push-up over and over and over again to make sure that it falls somewhere on my list.
God, John Krasinski, man. I don't know that I've ever been jealous of another man like terribly, but John Krasinski he's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. What a life! What a blessed existence that man has.
He's a good-looking human too, though.
Oh, he is. Of course he is. I actually have asked my wife about that. I'm like, well, what do you think of him? She's like, well, yeah, he's attractive, like in a nerdy way. She's like, but yeah.
But he's also he's like Jax.
Oh yeah, no, I know he is. I know he is.
He's a goofy guy, but at the same time, you know, he
right. Serious. It's like he goofy until he takes his shirt off, right? And then you're like, oh.
Oh yeah. Okay. You're super goofy.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. Let's talk. I guess we'll get right into you want that? Let's get into the Oscars. Go ahead.
All right,
the Oscars. Yeah, we'll do a little swords here. I want you to briefly talk about it. Give you a couple minutes.
No. I'm angry about something, about what they did last night.
Mm-hmm,
okay. Mm-hmm. So they switched things up, and instead of doing, as is normal for the Oscars, you do Best Picture at the end, right? That's how you end the night.
Yes.
Well, they switched things up. They moved that. They switched things around. That was actually done a little bit earlier in the show. And then, so at the end, they did Best Actor. Now, I think the idea here was to award Chadwick Boseman, the late, great Chadwick Boseman, with Best Actor win to close out the show, which would have been a very emotionally and perfect way to close out the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
So they do it, and they pull the card, and who wins? Not Chadwick Boseman, 83-year-old white guy Anthony Hopkins. Now, hold on. Before you even, I'm not ripping Anthony Hopkins here. I love Anthony Hopkins. Who the fuck doesn't love Anthony Hopkins? This is his second Oscar win, by the way. But why would you have done that format-wise if you weren't going to award it posthumously to Chadwick Boseman? Like, that's how you end the show. Not with giving it to. And here's what made it even worse. One, Anthony Hopkins, because he's old as fuck, wasn't even in attendance. And two, he wasn't even available via satellite to accept. So it was just like, I think Joaquin Phoenix or something came on and said a few words or some shit like that. But like, how do you, if you're the Oscars, if you were the Academy, how do you drop the ball like this? Mm-hmm. First of all, it should have been Chadwick Boseman, because it just would have been the fucking right thing to do. What now? Have I seen either of the movies? No, I haven't. So I cannot even speak with any real authority on this. But why would you have formatted the show that way? You know what it is, dude? We're going right back to law-abiding citizen. This is the law-abiding citizen of fucking endings, right? Like, you had a perfect ending there, all set up, and you fucking law-abiding citizen that shit. And you gave it to Anthony Hopkins. And listen, again, this is no shot against Anthony Hopkins. I didn't see the movie Father. I think that's what he won for. And I'm sure he probably was deserving. But Chadwick Boseman was supposedly like the runaway. He was the leader in the clubhouse, up by like 10 strokes, supposedly, going into this. I think he had posthumously won the Golden Globe for the same thing. And I think the feeling was like he was going to be the runaway winner of that tonight. And they looked like they were setting up for that, to have the show end on that note. Would it have been a solemn note? Yes. But it still would have been a dramatically solemn note. Instead, it's like they pull the card and it's like, Anthony Hopkins? Really? That's all I really wanted to say about the Oscars. And now you know why nobody cares about that fucking show and why nobody watches it. Because of shit like that.
Well, I mean, I guess,
dude, it should have been Chadwick Boseman.
I agree that with what happened,
or if it wasn't going to be Chadwick Boseman, then Hopkins, they should have just done it in the order that they normally do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Just go out with Best Picture.
Yeah.
By the way, I am always happy to report that the Disney train continues to just chug along. After that, a little hiccup a couple of years ago with the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse winning for Best Animated Feature, which, by the way, it totally deserved. Totally deserved, because Disney didn't really have anything to throw at it that year. But the Disney train has been back on track the last couple of years. Last night, Soul, which Soul is a tremendous movie.
I have not seen it yet.
Tremendous Disney movie,
I haven't
by the
watched
way.
it yet.
No, and it totally deserved it, and it should have won by a landslide, and it did. And listen, I'm that guy. I love Disney. I know a lot of people hate Disney, but I love when Disney wins. To me, it's kind of like one of those things like with when the Yankees win. It just shows you that the world is in its proper axis. When Disney is doing well, to me, that means like there's a sense of normalcy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So congratulations to Soul, because that movie was tremendous, and it definitely deserved Best Animated Feature.
Nice. All right, so that's it for the Oscars. Really, like I said, I did not watch it last night. I didn't really watch a lot of the new movies that came out last year, for obvious reasons.
But really, fuck off, Academy, for that ending. Damn, god damn,
you blew it.
You just did. You just sucked.
But I'm excited this coming year because I've already started seeing like with the HBO Max thing that's going on.
God, I love HBO Max.
Oh, you need to watch Soul. I agree with the Bri Man out there on that one. All right.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's what
it's excellent.
I have not, like I said, I haven't seen it. My kids saw it without me, so they watched it at Mimi and Pop-Pop's house, I think.
Okay.
So it's one of those that I'm sure I'll get watched. I watch every single Disney movie.
My 4-year-old loves it. Lex loves it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be calling him that. He's technically not 4 yet. He will be in a few weeks, but yeah, he loves it.
Don't do that. He'll mess you up.
He's a big kid.
He's got the nice hair.
Oh, he's got that afro. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it is great. I love it.
He got that. He gets that from me. You wouldn't know it, but because my hair's short.
No.
If you've seen the pictures, though.
I've seen your hair.
Yeah.
You
can get out of control.
The nice thick mane.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So that was the Oscars from the Bri Man there. Now we will get into a brief little talk of
the state of the Yankees.
I wish I had loved the way the Yankees were playing this year as much as I like that little animation. But the Yankees are still in last place. They have played slightly better. They
won 3 or 4 in Cleveland.
But
if that's something you can get excited about,
I'm not very excited.
You know what? Here's the bottom line with this team.
Have you seen the NL East? There is one team over 500. It's the Mets.
The Mets.
They are 9-8.
9-8. Yeah. No, I know. It's a competitive division early on, but it's also not good. It depends on your perspective.
It is good though. There is quality team. It's just a matter of. I think it's so early in the year. I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen regularly with baseball, kind of going forward, especially with like COVID is kind of hurting things as well. I think that you're seeing a lot of like just rust and just all sorts of stuff going on with players, athletes, everybody in general. It's tough to get back into the swing of things. So I think people are literally. So I think it's like kind of.
Yeah.
A little.
I think too. Well, so with the Yankees, here's all I can say right now, based off of what are they 9-12, so 21 games. When it comes to this rotation, it's Garrett Cole and a dice roll. I mean, that's really what it is. After him, you just don't know what you're going to get. Kluber has started to show some flashes here and there, but he seems to have innings where he just loses it. Yeah. Jamison Tyone is kind of in the same boat. Like for 3 or 4 innings, he'll pitch well, but then he'll have like an implosion inning.
But that's expected for me.
Like, for both of them, yes.
And also Kluber, 2 guys who haven't pitched a lot in the recent times and are needing to come back, shake some rust off. And I think you're going to see what they are in like July. Going forward, June, July, you'll start to see what they are, particularly in July. You'll really start to see who they are and what they're going to give you this year.
The lineup has picked up a little bit, but to me, there are still just significant holes. I can't believe I'm saying this, but man, they really need Luke Voigt back. They really do. And I'm not like the biggest Luke Voigt guy, but
not only as a bat, but they need him in the clubhouse. They need him
they need him in the dugout.
Jovial personality.
Yeah. They do. Yeah. They do. I actually think maybe him and Rougned Odor could make a fun little tag team because Odor is bringing some of that and it's great. And I love it. I tell you what, I mean, I used to like Rougned Odor just because he knocked out Jose Bautista. Yes. But now I actually like him because I like the swag that he's yes, which we'll talk about later. I like the swag that he's bringing to the lineup. I like the occasional bat flips and stuff. And I'm not usually a bat flip person, but the
nice 175 batting average.
Should we talk about the Trevor Bauer response to Fernando Tatis, which was unbelievably mature and
I didn't hear it.
And very. I mean, so basically Tatis hit 2 home runs off of him in a game that Bauer actually won, and both times kind of like showed him up rounding the bases doing this like the one eye thing or whatever and really
letting him have it.
Yeah,
showing him
and afterwards so they ask him about it and Bauer goes, and it was just so weird. He was like, I'm glad you brought that up. He's like, that's something I really want to talk about. And then he goes into this whole thing about how like it was great. This is exactly what the game needs. It's fantastic. He's like
talk about that stuff before.
And he's like, listen, it's a give and take. He's like, sometimes they'll get the best of me and sometimes I'll get the best of them. And he's like, I think the game needs more of it. And I was just like, my jaw was on the floor because I was like, wow. I mean, this guy's weird and quirky and very bizarre, a very bizarre human being, but that was a really intellectually well thought out response. And
he the more he talks, which is weird because usually the more people talk, the more, especially when they're quirky, the more you kind of like, I'm gonna pull back on listening to this guy a little bit.
Right.
You understand that he really has love for the game.
Homer Simpson it into the bush. Like, okay.
It's like
I'm gonna back out.
But as far as Kluber goes, he's a guy that really loves the game, really wants to grow. He is really quirky and weird, but he's has some strong opinions that are outside of baseball. But I think overall, you're looking at a guy who just wants baseball to be better as an entertainment sport. Yeah, and he understands that, and that's great. I love it.
Yep.
All right, so
moving on.
Yeah, we're not going to spend much time on baseball today because we have that. Obviously, we have the talk of the NFL, and we got to get in on that. So we will jump right over into the NFL,
the National Football League.
Here we go. Yeah, the NFL, baby. I should have probably done like a little something in the background, but I didn't.
I'm excited about this because we don't even know the order in which we're drafting yet. Are we flipping a coin?
We're going to flip a coin.
You have a coin.
Yes, I'm sure I have a coin.
All right, you flipped and I call it in the air and what winner gets first pick? Is that how we'll do it?
I have a dollar bill. Is that good?
Yeah, I don't care. We didn't think this through. I don't have a coin anywhere nearby.
I usually have a coin.
I'm one of those people that does not carry cash.
You know what I'm going to flip?
Or money.
I'm going to flip my debit card.
Yeah, why not?
Or I'll flip this. I'll flip a Amazon gift card.
Sure.
So
why not?
The Happy Holidays stop. Well, this is one of Cam's that he had to give us because
we'll call that
something.
heads.
Yeah. So that's
happy
heads,
head.
And
happy
then
head.
The back is tails. All right.
Okay.
So
all right.
What do you have? Happy holidays. So what do you?
I'm gonna go heads.
You're gonna go heads
for the first pick.
All right. Yeah. I'm throwing this thing on the floor. Wait.
All right.
You know what? Maybe I'll do it over here in front of this camera. Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'll go in front of the NFL.
Camera 1, camera 2, okay. Camera 1, camera 2.
I'm gonna add it in there. Ready?
Okay.
You see the other camera on there? You see that got the wheel in there, but here we go. Right? Oh.
I don't see it, but I'm taking your word for it.
I did. I just want to make sure you know the card's already been used, so you can't really.
So it was tails?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the number 2 pick. All right.
Yes, you have number 2. Number 2, which means that I have the easiest
Well, this is
pick
fun
in the
for me.
draft.
That means I get the Dolphins. So
I have the easiest pick in the draft, is what that means.
By the way, we should both point out that we are wearing jerseys today. I have my authentic Cam Wake Miami Dolphins jersey, and you have I don't know who that is. Is that Diggs? No. Who is it? I can't remember who 14 is on the...
Diggs!
It is Diggs. Okay. Yeah, all right. Nice. That's awesome. That's not authentic, is it?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, normally I can tell. Authenticora, which is my other nickname, usually can tell. Yeah, it doesn't look like one.
No.
It's got replica written all over it.
I ain't spending for the big stuff. I ain't got that money. Money.
Oh, I don't either, but I still won't buy a jersey unless it's authentic. So, all right, let's go.
This is as authentic as I'll go.
Yeah.
All right. So, we should probably get some music in the background. Let's see what we got here. Let me see what I got for NFL music. There we go. We'll put this in the background. This is kind of some stuff. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, good.
No, not that one. I can't. That's gonna get us copywritten.
Okay.
How about this one? All right, I think this is something. I don't know what it is, but hopefully something will kick on soon. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's got some old school football. All right. So what we have here is the number 1 pick. I'm going to start the clock right now. Ready?
Yes.
Boom. Number 1 pick overall is the easiest pick in the draft. We have the Jacksonville Jags, and probably the number 1. Everybody seems to think that this guy can't miss, and that is Trevor Lawrence. Easiest pick in the draft, stud quarterback, and it's exactly what the Jags need. So they are going to go with
the music
Lawrence.
Timed with your pick very well.
Yes. So
it
there
really
you go.
Up right when you said Trevor Lawrence.
There you go.
Hey, I'm with you on this. Listen, you know what? Urban Meyer did not.
And that's
decide
who
to
they're
come
going
to
to
the
pick.
NFL.
Too. Yeah,
yes.
That's who they are going to pick.
Yeah,
too.
you might as well just sign him right now.
We can do that too. As we're picking, if you want to say like what they're going to pick is probably this, but this is who I would pick if I was the GM, and this is who I would pick, and this is who everybody would pick if they were the GM.
I think Urban Meyer did not come out of retirement to go, or really I should say he didn't make the jump from college to the NFL
right
to pick anybody other than Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence is considered to be the surest thing since Andrew Luck.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. You got that.
With the number 2 pick
Yep.
in the Shane and the Bri Man Sports and Sorts NFL mock draft. The New York Jets are at it again, selecting a quarterback, Zack Wilson from Brigham Young University.
Is that who you would pick?
That's
what I want to know. That's what
it is. It is also who I would pick. I mean, I think behind Lawrence, he's probably the safest bet. I have some. I don't know. I have some other concerns, I guess, about guys like Justin Fields and Trey Lance. I wouldn't touch McCorkle Jones, also known as Mac Jones. I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't touch him with a 50-foot steel pole. I have a ton of concerns about Mac Jones.
Okay.
Zack Wilson reminds me of like a poor man's Patrick Mahomes in a way.
He reminds me of a poor man's Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford? Or Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold, yeah.
Oh.
Not Bradford. Sam Darnold. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, he reminds me of a poor man's Mahomes. Certainly not the size, not quite the athleticism, but he's very creative with the ball, though. Mm-hmm. And he can make a lot of those kind of funky throws, too. Now, again, the question is, can he do it to that level? I don't know. But listen, beyond Trevor Lawrence, I don't think there are any sure things in this draft at the quarterback position. I think you've got Trevor Lawrence and then projects. But I think of those projects, Zack Wilson's probably the one I would go with. Number 2.
All right. I like it.
I don't love it, but whatever.
Well, I mean, if I was picking there, I would take Justin Fields.
Okay.
Because
that's fair. He's very athletic.
Yeah, I think he's got higher upside. I don't like Wilson. I'm not a fan. I don't even think I'd take him in the top 10. I would just let him go. Anyway, all right. So now we get into the number 3 pick. And I'm going to start the clock for me. The 49ers, in my opinion, should select. They should. Because what they're going to do is they're going to take your boy McCorkle.
I don't think they are. I think that's a smokescreen.
They're going to take him. That's who I think they're going to take. I think who I think they should take is I think they should take Trey Lance. Because he's got an enormous amount of talent. I think that you just let Jimmy Garoppolo play this year, maybe play the whole year if he can stay healthy. Sure. But I think you should at least play him for half the year and then maybe trade him if he's playing well, and then you can slide that guy in, slide Trey Lance in. But because I think that ultimately this guy could, if he lives up to potential of his athleticism and everything like that, he could be the best overall quarterback in this draft. The problem is there is high upside and there's actually some low downside as well. So I like the kid. I want to see him. I would like to see him go into a situation like this where he could stay on the sidelines for about a year, maybe 2, and learn and then grow and come in, because he's like the youngest quarterback in the draft too, I believe. I think he's only going to be 20. Yeah. So that's who I would pick if I was the 49ers, is Trey Lance, and let him grow on the sidelines.
So is it Trey Lance that you're?
That's who I'm picking. Yeah.
That's who you're picking.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've had 3 quarterbacks go. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'll tell you what, this is going to make me pivot now. So I am actually going to throw. I'm going to throw a trade in here.
Whoa.
And I'm not going to give you the details of the trade, but I'm essentially going to give you a swap. So the Broncos, who are very quarterback desperate, are going to slide into this pick, make the trade with
the Falcons.
So that means with the Falcons. So the Broncos will move up to 4, and the Falcons will go to 9. Okay. So now with the 4th,
I don't think the Falcons would select it. I don't think they would take it, but okay.
With the 4th pick. Now here, I'll tell you my reason for doing this, because as much as the Falcons would probably love to take a guy like Kyle Pitts and make their offense unstoppable, their offense is not the problem currently. Their defense is a major issue.
They need more offense, though.
Do they, though?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, hold on. So right now you've got Matt Ryan, who still has another 2 years left on his contract, and who, by the way, I still think has a little bit left to give. Okay.
I think if he has enough offensive weapons.
He's got Julio Jones. He's got Calvin Ridley, which is maybe by far the best wide receiving tandem in the league. He's got a good tight end already in Hayden Hurst, and they have a very solid running back in Todd Gurley. Offense for that team is not the problem. They need defense in the worst way. This also allows them to accumulate some more picks, because in order to make that jump from 9 to 4, it's going to cost you. So not only are the Broncos going to give up 9, but they're probably going to have to give up another second rounder, and they might even have to cough up next year's first. I don't know. I don't know what the cost is. There's charts for that kind of stuff, and I don't know what the cost would be. But I would think at the very least, a second and a third rounder, probably in this year's draft, to make the move, and it could be more than that. So with the 4th pick, the Broncos, because now, and the reason why I'm doing this is because now the quarterback run has begun, and the Broncos don't want to be left sitting at 8 or 9, I should say, to hope that they can get a guy. Okay. So now they have their choice between either McCorkle Jones or Justin Fields. And if I'm the Denver Broncos, I'm taking Justin Fields at number 4. You need that guy. You need Justin. You need a quarterback. Wow. Drew Lock's not the answer. I don't get me wrong. I liked Drew Lock coming out of college. I think he went to Purdue. I liked him a lot, but I think you've seen enough to know that he's probably just not the guy. And Justin Fields is just an athletic freak who can just really make things happen with his big arm, with his legs, played in a pro-style offense at Ohio State. There's just a lot to like there. And I think the quarterback run has begun. It started right with pick number 1, and it continues with pick number 4. Justin Fields is the newest member of the Denver Broncos.
Wow. So I'm shocked.
Well, we wanted to make this a little bit different and fun, right? I didn't want to just...
Yeah, because if I was the Falcons, I would take Pitts all the way. But I think that is you sneakily getting who you want as a Dolphins fan. All right.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
So as the Cincinnati Bengals GM, I am going to... So I'm torn here. This is where... Because you didn't let Kyle Pitts go to the Falcons, which is what I was expecting to happen. But you made a trade.
Which is also what I think will happen.
You made a trade.
Yeah.
And now the Bengals, they have the opportunity. They have two opportunities here. They can give the Bengals a better target to throw to and help Joe Burrow out that way, or they can protect him. And I know Burrow wants his buddy.
He wants Jamar Chase.
To throw to, because I know that's just what he wants, and that's
or I'm sure he wouldn't hate Pitts either.
Right, he would be very happy with Pitts, but I think he wants his boy. But I think the smart pick here, the smart pick is to take Penei Sewell.
It is.
It's you gotta protect this guy for the long term.
Yeah.
This guy didn't give up a sack throughout his whole college career. Yeah. He's insane. So I think that's what you need to do. You need to take an offensive lineman here to protect your number one pick from last year.
Yep.
And that's what I would do. I just can't. I would like to take Pitts and give him another offensive weapon, but that will help a little bit, but not as much as. It won't help as much as having a better offensive line.
Well, speaking of Kyle Pitts, that brings us to the Miami Dolphins, who are picking at number 6.
You did it!
And they are going to take Kyle Pitts, who is sitting there on the board.
Wow.
They were very happy to see him fall there. I think it was serendipitous that the Broncos decided to trade up and get their quarterback, because they didn't want to wait around to 9 to make sure they didn't want to end up with McCorkle Jones, that's for sure. So the bottom line is Dolphins get their man, Kyle Pitts. They team him up with Mike Gesicki, and you have a tight end mismatch nightmare that the NFL is going to see unfold in 2021 and beyond. Because now the Miami Dolphins this is the year of giving Tua. Last year was the year of picking Tua. This is the year of giving Tua his weapons. In the offseason so far, they've bolstered depth on the offensive line to help out. And they picked up a guy that, you may know, I was thrilled. Probably was the one wide receiver outside of Curtis Samuel that I wanted more than anyone else, which was Will Fuller, because Will Fuller stretches the field, takes a safety with him. He can cause problems. Now, what this does is now you put Pitts, who, by the way, is very versatile, because he can line up wide or he can line up inside as a tight end, put 3 fingers on the ground. Very versatile guy, which, of course, the V word is, Chris Greer and Brian Flores, you're speaking their language when you pull out versatile and versatility. That's their thing.
Oh, that's the V word?
Now, Pitts, yes, that's the V word. So that's what's going to happen now, though, is you might have a potential offensive threat here of Will Fuller on one side, Devontae Parker on the other side. And then you've got then you've got Pitts and Gesicki in there. And those two guys going over the middle. And if they can get themselves at 18, a running back, possibly by the name of Najee Harris, the Dolphins could really create some offensive mismatchup nightmares here. They could cause a lot of problems on offense. And if Tua develops the way that I think he will, and that most of Dolphin fans think he will, you're going to see a very explosive offense this year with Kyle Pitts.
Cool. All right. See, so if I had the number 2, and I think that if Pitts, went to the Falcons, because if I had 2, 4, 6, I would have gone with Jamar Chase as your receiver.
And I think that's probably what will happen. Yes. Which, by the way, I would not be upset with, because to me, he's the heir apparent to Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker's he's a better version of Devontae Parker, quite frankly. Parker's in the last year of his contract now. They extended him a couple years. He's in the last year of that now. And I think he leaves after this year, and Chase takes that slot.
All right. I like it. I like what you're thinking. All right. So let's get into my number. I got number 7 here, which is the Lions need everything. So I'm going to be boring again here. What I'm going to pick here is I'm going to go with the offensive tackle, Rashawn Slater. They need everything under the sun. The one thing that the Lions will need is an offensive line, because if they don't have an offensive line that's even somewhat decent, Goff is screwed. He is not a guy who can play on the run. He's not a guy who can think really fast. He is the guy that needs protection. He needs to be able to kind of sit and move in around the pocket and not be under that much pressure. Unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to help all that much because their team's just a hot mess. It's a heated mess. So therefore, I think that you're going to see them go with offensive tackle because I think whoever they get in the future, because this team is probably going to finish in the bottom half of the division anyway. So they're going to have another high pick next year. And granted, quarterback class is terrible next year. So they probably won't get a quarterback next year. But I don't think they're looking to win in the next 2 years. I think they're looking maybe 4 or 5 years from now is when they might have the ability to win. So I think you're looking at, Goff kind of just keeping them at the 4 to 6 win range per year, but keeping them in that 1 to 12 draft picks for a long period of time. And then we'll go from pretty much there because they need offensive tackle, you need offensive line, and I think getting a quarterback in maybe 3 years is going to be what's going to be the play, unless they can trade for like a Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that, and which is a possibility. It's always a possibility, but the Lions are just trash.
Yeah. Nope. I think that's a good pick. So that brings us to the Panthers. Now, again, you're actually somewhat forcing me to pivot here. Not to make a trade, but to at least pivot in my pick because I actually was going to mock Rashawn Slater to the Panthers because they need one. They need an offensive tackle. That being said,
I do think that I think the Patriots are going to trade for this pick.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What, to get McCorkle?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to give the Patriots the satisfaction of anything, of moving into anywhere. Plus, I don't want to make a pick on their behalf because I hate them. Although I hate Mac Jones. I don't hate Mac Jones, but I don't think Mac Jones is going to be a good pro, so maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing to mock them to the Pats. But anyways, so at number 8.
Yeah.
Now, the Panthers are, look, they just traded for Sam Darnold, right? Mm-hmm. So they're giving him a fresh start. He has some weapons there. He has DJ Moore at receiver. He has Robbie Anderson at receiver. He has Christian McCaffrey, who is a guy who's going to catch 100 balls and, and he's going to carry the rock a few hundred times. I mean, he's, but you know what? If you really want to help Sam Darnold out here, how about giving him the Heisman Trophy winner, Devonte Smith, and setting him up for really big success? I think if you add a guy like Devonte Smith, who just gracefully glides across the field, almost like nobody I've ever seen since like Jerry Rice, just the way he runs his routes, the separation that he's able to create naturally, is just, he's a special guy. I mean, he is a special player, Devonte Smith. Mm-hmm. And I think he really helps stretch the field for them. I think he'll open up their offense a lot. I think he'll benefit Christian McCaffrey a ton. And I think if you look at that offense now, where you've got Anderson, Moore, Devonte Smith, Christian McCaffrey, and a revitalized Sam Darnold, could see some fireworks down in Carolina. So I think maybe they pick up. I would have had them picking Rashawn Slater here, but I think, you give them another offensive weapon, and that takes a lot of pressure off of Darnold too in year one, and it really allows him to flourish and gives him, something. He gives him an arsenal to work with.
Okay.
So that would be my pick at number 8.
All right. Now I have the Falcons at 9.
Yes, you do.
All right. This is tough because this is where I have to pivot. So let's
Now,
see.
if you want to go by my logic, even though it's now your pick, I did this because I think they need defense more than anything else. But again, this is
right.
I don't want to influence you.
No. You're not going to influence me here. I have my guys over here.
How about just go crazy and make it an all Alabama receiving core and get Waddle?
No, because
Waddle and Jones and Ridley. Oh my!
So
holy shit!
Can
you imagine?
What I'm gonna do here is now I feel like I have to go, because we're at the point now where things like the top people that I think are really out there are definitely gone for the Falcons for the most part. There's still some really good picks, but the problem is I don't know. I'm not sure where they pick next. And if it's not until, if they don't have another pick in the first round, it's not until mid-second round or even the beginning of the second round.
It'd be early second round.
Right.
It'd be like 36 or something.
Right, but I'm not. And there are
the Dolphins are 36. I think they'd be 37.
There are a ton of cornerbacks left. There's two that I really have on my list here, and I'm stuck here because there's one that I want for a different team.
Yep.
But I feel like I have to reach and take them now, and that's
not a reach. It's Patrick
Surtain. It's not a reach. It's just that I wanted him to go to the Cowboys.
So did I, because that's who I was going to mock to him. So you've now made me pivot again.
So I would like to go with Patrick.
And this is how the NFL draft works.
He is an absolute beast at corner. They need somebody. They need somebody to help slow down other teams. And this is a guy that can kind of lock down some of those top tier receivers. Now, granted, he's a rookie. He's going to get burnt from time to time. But that's who I would go with. I think you have a legit cornerback on your hands. And that's good for them, but it's still not going to be enough to really help their defense overall that much.
Oh, I think it will. He is a lockdown corner, physical with size.
He is, but that's one guy.
Yeah,
but he's just taking one guy off the field, and it's like, I don't know. That's going to be tough. Because
can't say it's not an improvement on defense, though.
They're going to still have a hard time getting to the quarterback. They're going to still have a hard time getting, people going over the middle of the field.
Well, the problem
they're not
going
to be able to slow down that much. They're just going to be taking one option out.
Right, and the problem with that pick is it's too early to get an edge guy or a linebacker because it's I guess it's a reach at that point. Yeah. When you start to think about guys like JOK from Notre Dame or Kwity Paye from Michigan.
This is something where they might have to.
Parsons from Penn State. It's a little too early.
If the Falcons were really looking to win this year, they would try and move up again, and they would try and move up into the mid to later of this round.
Well,
and then try and get somebody like that. And then they might have to reach for some people because they need some defense. Like you said, I was figuring just go full offense and just try and kill on offense, but that's what it is.
I mean, but they'll lose a lot of games 50-45, but. Anyways, all right. So that brings me to 10. Again, you're forcing me to pivot, but not too much because the Cowboys still have a glaring need at corner. So they're going to take J.C. Horn, the cornerback from South Carolina. Just makes sense. Good fit. I think they would have preferred Surtain, but this is a very acceptable consolation prize if you're the Dallas Cowboys. You're getting yourself a real high quality cornerback and a guy that you can put right into your starting rotation there. So, and the Cowboys are a team that, now that they've got their quarterback back, everybody's healthy. They really should be able to win that division, I think. But who knows?
Right.
But this J.C. Horn will help them get there, though.
Great.
That's it. And that's it. That's our top 10.
That is our top 10 of.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I had to think on the fly a little, a few times.
Which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
That was our NFL. Let me see if I can do this. Ready? I'm gonna do it again. Put that emoticon on there. Ready? Why isn't it playing?
I'd be curious if any of our 3 or 4 listeners have any thoughts about how we did on that draft. I'd like a grade on that draft.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. The Bri Man he did 2, 4, 6, 8. Made a trade. I did 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We each did our picks. We had to pivot. All right. So that's it pretty much there with let's see, that one's going off here. Okay, that's the end of our the NFL talk. All right, now let's get into the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We will.
Oh, sure.
Where do you think you're going? I'm gonna sort it out.
I do not have a sorts situation of an animated thing for that.
Yeah, okay.
Yet. But it is what it is. All right, let's get into The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Or should we call it Captain America?
Well, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but
spoiler. Fuck you if you haven't watched it. Too bad.
So the Falcon and Winter Soldier. If I have to give this an overall rating, 1 through 10,
sure,
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Ooh. I thought it had moments, like it led me in with the initial sequence on the first episode, that like 10 to 15 minute crazy, chase scene with the helicopter and Falcon. Yep. It was great. A lot of fun. I can't say I love Sam being Captain America. Doesn't look right. Doesn't feel right. Never has, because I've always thought of him as a secondary character. I never really thought he had much depth. I still don't think his character has much depth. And I overall am not in love with the show. But I do like, I like Bucky's development from the beginning to the end. I thought that showed some definite depth. Like, I thought that he was a very 2D character to start. And as the show went on, it really dove into his background. And, whereas Sam's background, Falcon's background, it was kind of like, it just felt a little, I don't know.
Well, I love the Winter Soldier. He's my second favorite Marvel character after Doctor Strange. So.
And I liked though his growth, and I would not be surprised if at some point they switch. Because I really I don't believe Falcon as Captain America. And I know what happened in the comics. I didn't really care for that either. To be honest, I would have rather seen Rhodes be Captain America. If they wanted to go in the African-American black route, if they wanted to go that route, because I feel like he has just a better, one, he's a better actor. Two, he's overall just has more depth to his character. He's more patriotic, in my opinion. He just seems like that. And he's not quite like, he's kind of in between Bucky and Captain America. Like he sides more with the USA. Whereas, Steve Rogers, there's nobody like Steve Rogers. And that's the problem, is that replacing him is incredibly tough. And I think they tried to have somebody who, comes in, takes over the shield, and kind of just gives you that icky feeling, and then give it to Sam.
Oh, the old man from Up? Yeah, okay.
Kurt Russell.
What was it? Wyatt Russell, right?
Yeah. I think that it's just, it didn't really work for me. I didn't really care for the villain this year. I didn't really care.
Carly?
I didn't really care.
The Flag Smashers?
Yeah, I didn't really care for them that much. That wasn't great. I like how, what's her name? Oh my gosh. She came back. I can't remember her last name.
What, Carter?
Yes, Carter. Agent Carter. I like her and how seems like she's taking a turn for the dark side, or has already done that, which is, I like that. I think that's good. She seems like she's playing both sides very well. Still to the point of where you're not 100% sure she's still a bad guy. Like, you're not 100% sure she's a bad guy, but you kind of think she's a bad guy. And I like that.
Yeah.
Because you could easily see her, very easily see her, playing the other side as an undercover agent, right? I mean, that's what she is. So, but it's also great to see this, because you're kind of like, oh crap. Like, or is Zemo playing this whole thing from the sideline? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Which, this is what I like. That I like. So I think second season is going to be better than the first season.
Yep.
And I hope that we get a little bit more to kind of give me a feeling that Sam is actually is Captain America. And because as of right now, I'm not really 100% sold. And I don't think I'd been sold if Bucky was either. I just think they shouldn't have done it yet.
Yep.
Maybe even if they had Captain America come back in like a post-credit scene and just like have a conversation with him and that the other black guy who was
Elijah.
Yeah, who was the original super soldier, like, and they kind of sat down and talked together, and then had that monument made, all that stuff. That would have pulled at my heart a little bit more. Like the way that it happened so fast, and there was no kind of, I don't know. It just didn't. It kind of felt empty to me. So I don't know.
I'm higher on this show than you are. I went 8 out of 10 on it. I felt like it started strong and ended very strong. In the middle, there were some down points, which didn't suck me in quite as much as I was hoping to. There were some episodes that in the middle there where I kind of glazed over a little bit. But overall, I think it's a nice setup for the show going forward. There were a lot of, I am completely with you on the development of Bucky. His character is maturing. I actually even love the line where Falcon tells him, like, put in the work. Like, you actually have to put the work. Like, he literally tells him, put the work in. Yeah. You know, like, you're not getting it done. And that's why you're in this fucking malaise. And, and I like at the end how he confronted, the guy, and not confronted him, but like basically, spilled his guts to the guy about I killed your son, and that was
like, that's heavy stuff.
This was very heavy.
Got with him throughout the whole thing. Yeah. It was, and they gave you a little bit of heavy stuff with Sam and his sister and stuff like that, and the boat. And right. But you knew at the end it was all going to turn out fine. And Bucky's side did not turn out fine. He had to like confess, and now he feels crappy, and he feels he might feel a little bit weight lifted off his chest, but that guy feels terrible. Right. He might even feel okay, but you're not 100% sure because they didn't really go into it too much. But leaving it open like that kind of just gives you the.
They actually kind of avoided that scene a little bit. I mean, like he tells him, but then they sort of like cut away, and it's just him leaving, walking out the door.
Yeah.
They didn't put in like that scene of him really reacting, like the old man really reacting and being like, I almost felt like that was like lazy a little bit, like they avoided the scene. Like,
well, he started to work. Like, you could see that he started to kind of like,
yeah. And maybe you didn't need it. Maybe my artistic vision isn't that great, but I don't know. I just felt like that was like a confrontation that I kind of needed to see. Yeah. Even if it would have made me uncomfortable. I still felt like it was something I would have wanted to see. I actually did like the whole sort of backstory with the boat and with his sister. I actually thought that was kind of a good filler. But there were there's definitely some holes here. There's some room for improvement. Not improvement, but just more fleshing out of the story, so to speak. I agree with you that maybe as far as villains go, Carly and the Flag Smashers. I mean, it sounds like a band actually, but like it's
not even. It's like a teen band,
like a teen band. Like a I don't know, maybe like a UK band or something. Carly and the Flag Smashers. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like
it's like one of those those bands that they have in like the cartoons,
Yeah, it's right. Like Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah. So this is Carly and the Flag Smashers, and I just was like, all right. You needed some villain. You needed some antagonist.
They started off pretty good.
I guess this is the way to go. Yeah. So to me, that wasn't the strongest. There's just a lot. There were a lot of moving parts. First of all, you had Falcon Winter Soldier, Carly and the Flag Smashers. You had, Helmet Zemo. You have, you've got Carter.
Zemo was good. Zemo was a good addition to the.
Completely agree. No. Yes. I'm glad they dusted him off. And then
Agent Carter was great too, I thought.
Yep. No, I'm not saying that they weren't necessary things. Just a lot of moving parts.
Agent Carter actually seemed like more of a badass than everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
I was just going in taking out like dozens of guys.
Yeah. No, she's definitely pretty. And then you get Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, and then you've got the other Captain America
Val.
Too. So
Val.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of moving parts here going on. And some of it has been sorted out and some of it has not. But, it's a good show. I wasn't into it the way I was into WandaVision.
See, I wasn't into WandaVision really at all.
See, I loved WandaVision. WandaVision I would give probably a 9 out of 10.
I haven't finished it.
But listen, good show. I'm very much looking forward to season 2. And just to see where it goes from here. Cool. And how, I think it'll be a deeper dive. Right. So, but overall pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good.
All right. Now let's get into Mortal Kombat. Just briefly, we're not going to talk about it too much because I don't think we really need to. this movie for me wasn't. So they set you up. The 7 minutes that they give you ahead of time is deep. It has great dialogue. It has great feeling. It has a lot of power. It has some serious martial arts skill set.
Yeah.
And then it takes a different turn. It goes kind of like almost into a TV movie where it's corny dialogue, not much depth, but some crazy brutal fatalities and some fighting that's a lot of fun, but there's not a lot of reason for it. It's just kind of like people show up and fight and kick each other's ass. And that's fun. And it was a lot of fun. I finished this movie and I was like, that was awesome. Like, that was just a lot of fun. Like, holy crap, Kano is awesome. He's hilarious. He's so incredibly cool. Like, I sent you that text message in the middle of the night when I was listening to it.
Yes.
He was like, laser beams are so much
which I didn't understand until the
then
day
fireballs,
after.
you pussy.
Yeah. No, he was good. What's your number on this?
My number for this is going to be a 7.5.
Okay.
Just because it's two different, like, if they gave you the same dialogue and the same, like, the way that things were written and the heaviness of the beginning 7 minutes, if that was the movie throughout, holy crap, this would have been like a 9.5. Like, that would have been so incredibly impressive. But there was you didn't get the feels from any other characters. Like, this didn't lead to Cole. This didn't lead to all of these other characters that were out there that were kind of a part of this.
Yeah.
It was Sub-Zero and Scorpion at the beginning of the movie. That was epic. And they kind of give you a little bit more of it at the end, which is epic. Mm-hmm. But the stuff in between is kind of soulless and emptiness, but a ton of fun. It's like Godzilla King Kong. Yeah. But not quite as good. Because you still got some feels from King Kong and Godzilla when they were battling. Like, when Kong goes down and separates his shoulder, you're like, oh no, things like that.
And then he has to Martin Riggs it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When he does that stuff, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. But Mortal Kombat.
I remember thinking about you.
And there was no camaraderie either with these guys. Like, you want to see more camaraderie, like you got in the original Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
But is that so? Yeah, your boy.
I'm not.
Timmy says it was fun, but it doesn't hold a candle to the original. The original it's different, but yes, I agree because the camaraderie was better. And Mortal Kombat, the original, has a couple of, like, not all-time great martial art fight scenes, but Johnny Cage, I think he was fighting Scorpion. That's amazing. That's an amazing fight sequence.
There's obviously, speaking of Johnny Cage, going to be a sequel here.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously, and I really hope that they start to spread this out, and they could actually make this like a cinematic universe. And you don't have to make everything cinematic universe, but they could easily do that with this, as long as they get some different writers.
Here's my problem.
Or try a little harder in the writing.
So you and I are relatively close. I have it as a 7 out of 10. Okay. You have a 7.5. I loved it. It was just a fun, ridiculous popcorn romp.
Yes.
My biggest issue. He did. No, without a question. The swearing was he was just like, every time he dropped the F-bomb, it was just so perfect, which was like every other line.
The fatalities were pretty cool too. Some of them.
Yeah, no, they were. My biggest issue with the movie, and again, I mean, it's like, okay, you're trying to criticize a movie here that is just, it's sort of like Sharknado-ish in the sense that it's not really meant to tell like this tremendous story.
Bad,
but I'm with you though. Like, that opening scene was awesome.
Yeah.
It's really great. Right?
It's like high quality.
Yeah.
All around.
Like, that first scene, I was like, oh, shit, like, this movie might be better than I expected.
Yeah. I assume that Timmy just posted, I hope the sequel has an actual turn. I think that's what the point is.
Okay, so he just stole my thunder because that's my problem with the movie. Where was the tournament?
Yeah.
Like, that's what Mortal Kombat is.
That's what I think that is going to lead up to.
And it was like they were actively trying to avoid said tournament in this movie, because all you've got is like, we're going to try and do this an underhanded way. We don't want to go toe-to-toe with you in a tournament, so we're just going to try to kill you in another way.
Right.
Like, that was actually my biggest issue.
They don't want them to get they don't want to get all their champions together, right?
Right. Like, so if it had been a tournament, I probably would have been in the 9 out of 10 range. Like,
they still need a better story, though.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna rip them for the story. I mean, you're basing a movie off of a video game. Anytime that you base a movie off a video game, I'm gonna give you a little bit of leash there to hang yourself with. But the thing that was the one part that killed me was, where's the tournament? You're like actively trying to avoid it, whereas you should be competing in it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I liked it though. I really did. Like, I was in fact, I got through the movie and I was surprised that the runtime was like an hour and 50. Cause I was like, damn, this felt like maybe an hour and 20 or something. Like, it went by fast.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was like, it was good. It was
fast-paced,
action from end to end,
funny,
very fast paced. But that opening was like 10 out of 10. The opening scene with Scorpion and Sub-Zero before they are really Scorpion.
Even the fight
Sub-Zero.
sequence at the end was pretty darn good too.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah. Really. I mean, yeah, and I loved seeing him come back as Scorpion, saying, I've come back from hell.
Get over here. And they cleaned that up too a little bit. It wasn't as muffled as it was in the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was really well done. It was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Yeah.
It was just stupid, silly fun.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Lots of fun. All right.
So are we on to OFN now?
Yes, we are. We are going to get on to the Wheel of Destiny's OFN.
This was a lot easier for me than I thought it would be.
It was not easy for me.
Is that what she said or he said? No. It's none of the above.
All right. So we're going to give ourselves like about 8 minutes or so. Let's give 7 minutes for this whole thing.
Sure.
We have to wrap up. All right. So I'm going to start it right now. So we're going to get into the once, which means you get to watch it one time, and that's it. Forever means this is the movie that stays in your collection forever. And
by the way,
you can only watch this movie from this actor. And then the never means you kill it off and it's from existence, which I'm going to have a caveat at the end. I'm going to give a caveat.
I would like Timmy to contribute his too via the chat, because I know he texted it to me last week when we decided on this, and I think I deleted the text by accident. So if Timmy could weigh in with his OFN on Sandler movies, because he had it. Okay. He had one.
So I'm going to start with my once.
Okay.
All right. We'll do once, and then we'll do forever, and then never, the one that we're going to kill off. All right.
Yep.
So the once that I'm going to go with, and this was really tough for me because I kept on going back and forth between a lot of different movies. Because I was like, do I want to go a little more heavy to kind of keep it? Because my forever is going to be easy for me. Do I want to just keep it like up light, and happy and, fun and just like exciting? Which way do I want to go with it? So I am going to go with one that kind of gives you just classic Sandler, but at the same time, it also gives you some of the most fun moments. And it's one of my favorite movies to just watch and get amped up by, and that's The Waterboy. The Waterboy with Bobby Boucher. It's just, there's so many great hits, and just so many times you're just kind of like jumping out of your seat and having fun. And like I had like Billy Madison just go with it, just so I could watch Jennifer Aniston in there with him. And I like that movie a lot. I think it's fun. They have good chemistry together. Don't Mess with Zohan. That's another one that I really like a lot. Yep. But The Waterboy is the one that stole the show for me for the once.
Okay.
What do you got for once?
You mentioned my once, actually, and I was really happy to hear it. My once is Just Go With It.
Wow. All right.
I'm a huge Just Go With It fan. First of all, I need to see more Dave Matthews in movies, because I still gush over that performance, like constantly. I still think that is one of the funniest performances I've ever seen by a non-actor in a movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's hilarious. But you touched on it. The chemistry between Sandler and Aniston is awesome. Yeah. And listen, the one thing you have to respect about Adam Sandler is he picks the hottest women to co-star with him. Women that are significantly out of his league, and he knows it.
Beckinsale, Drew.
And yet he pulls it off. Yeah. Like, it's believable in a way. Like, you almost kind of believe Sandler could pull off getting Jennifer Aniston. Mm-hmm. I mean, and of course, and then what's her name there? Brooklyn Decker, right? Yeah. Is that her name? Yeah. The supermodel? Uh-huh. Come on. I mean, that whole scene with the two of them where they're like, they go off to like that waterfall area, And like, Aniston takes, she's got her sneaky hot body.
Yeah.
And her son is funny. He's like, don't buy that. He's like, don't believe anything. He's like, she does Pilates. Like she pops, like M&Ms or something like that. She takes Pilates classes. Like she pops M&Ms or something. So like, but that movie, I love Just Go With It. That is such a fun movie. Like the remote goes down immediately as soon as that movie is on.
It is a good movie. I agree. All right. Now we're going to do the Forever, and the Forever is pretty easy for me. And
mine too. Mine was extremely easy.
And your boy Timmy has it in there as well. Happy Gilmore, 100%. And it's not just one of the greatest movies, in my opinion, especially golf movies, but it has not one of the greatest movie villains, but two of the greatest movie villains, because you have you have McGavin, Shooter McGavin, and you also have Hal, the orderly nurse. Those are two great. It's some awesome, awesome quotes. Between my fingers hurt. Oh, your fingers hurt? Well, your back's gonna be hurt. You just put landscaping duty. like that's so
Stiller
incredible.
is terrible. He's terrible.
There's so many great lines in this movie. The price is wrong, bitch. There's so many great quotes.
Yeah.
Just tap it in. It's all in the hips. All those there's just so many they use. And who hasn't? It's iconic. Who hasn't tried? You even talked about it when we played golf just a couple days ago. Who hasn't tried the Happy Gilmore when they go play golf?
I've tried it. Not with
Everybody.
you, but I have tried it. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So,
it feels sacrilegious to me that I actually didn't have either Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore on this list at all.
I know this one is for you.
Yeah, it's The Wedding
Singer. Yeah.
The Wedding Singer is the greatest fucking Adam
9.
Sandler movie I've ever seen. I'm sorry. It's just, first of all, it's completely in my wheelhouse. One, because it's set in the 80s, and two, because it's set in the 80s. So, I'm sorry. That movie speaks to me in so many ways. But that movie is really underrated too. It is as far as Sandler movies go. I mean, listen, Sandler movies aren't exactly like Rotten Tomatoes gems here, okay? And I don't even know what The Wedding Singer is off the top of my head.
It did well. I think it's in the 70s.
It might, right? Which would actually probably make it one of the higher rated ones because critics don't like his movies.
No.
But I mean, listen, the soundtrack is great. The story is fun. Yeah. Drew Barrymore, America fell in love with Drew Barrymore all over again during that movie. And listen, the dialogue is hilarious. My brother-in-law Frank and I quote that movie to each other constantly.
Yeah.
Even now, if I pick up the phone and I talk to him, I guarantee you a Wedding Singer quote comes out in that movie. And it's just I'm sorry, that has been my favorite Adam Sandler movie since the moment I saw it in the movie theater. And it honestly, as much as I love Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and Just Go With It, it's not even close.
Wow.
And I love those other three movies I just mentioned, by the way. Those three movies. Okay. And it's not even close.
All right. Okay, now we're going to go into the never. And this is where I'm going to put a caveat at the end. Because
Timothy had Wedding Singer as his once and Happy Gilmore as his forever. Okay,
yeah. I put it up on the screen. And Hubie Halloween, never.
See, I haven't seen Hubie Halloween yet, so I can't.
Either. So, but this is the problem. So this is my caveat here, is that I picked Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
Because I have never been able to finish the movie. And I think from now on, I have to only pick movies that we're going to have to do we're going to have to do something different here. We're going to have to do something like, if you haven't fully seen the movie, then you can't say it can't be on your list because you don't know how it ended and all that kind of stuff. And I thought about this after the fact. And it's also do we pick the top 3 or top 5 favorite movies and then we take it and put that into the once forever and ever because that makes it more difficult? Which way do we go with this?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I like the way we're doing it right now. But the caveat is from going forward is you haven't finished the movie, you can't put it in there. But because that's not a rule yet, Jack and Jill, never been able to finish it. I try to start it and I always get so bored I just end up turning on something else. So it's just one of those things that I can't get through it. So therefore it's my never.
Speaking of turning on something else, how about turning off something else? My never. Click. Turn it off.
Wow.
That's a trash bag movie. That movie's terrible. Terrible. It's awful. I can't.
It's not great, but I still teared up at the end.
Oh my God. It's appropriately named Click because you just want to turn it the fuck off as soon as you see it on, or just don't watch it at all. just click to something else. That's a bad movie. Jack and Jill's up there, though. I actually think I had Jack and Jill as an honorable mention for never. But yeah, click for me doesn't click with me.
Little Nicky's another one I have never been able to finish.
Oh no, fuck that. Little Nicky's awesome.
No, I've never been able to finish it.
Dude, Dan Marino's in Little Nicky. Enough said.
He was in Ace Ventura. That's good.
Yeah, right.
So,
listen, everything Dan Marino's ever been in is fucking gold. So
except for the Super Bowl.
That's true. And he lost to 49ers in the Super Bowl who were digging for gold. So, yeah.
So Timmy says, I promise you, watch Hubie Halloween. It'll be your never two.
Yeah.
All right.
I can imagine why. I mean, I remember seeing the previews and being like, oh, this can't be good.
All right. Let's get into, we'll put this on this. I'm going to turn the light up and we're going to spin the wheel of destiny.
All right. This is like my favorite part of the show.
See what we're gonna do next week. Here we go.
Plus, I love the graphic, and then the actual physical wheel.
The wheel of destiny. All right, here we go. Let's spin that wheel. I gave it a good spin that time. We have recast a movie.
Oh,
Friday.
No. Friday is the movie we're recasting? Wow. Jesus. That's a tough one,
isn't it?
Yeah. That's going to be very difficult.
Woo.
Oh my God. That's going to require some work. I'm not confident in my ability to recast that. That's going to be tough.
That is an iconic movie too.
Yeah, and it's so perfectly cast. I don't know what to do.
Debo.
All right. Shit. All right. Well, so
I mean, some are going to be easier than others, but
yeah. I mean, how deep are we going with the recasts? I mean, like how many characters?
The several of the main characters. Like we can go and we'll figure it out. Like maybe like top 5 characters or something like that.
Okay. All right.
You know, because we can't go too deep because that'll take too long. But
yeah. Like what I did, I think like when I did like my Jaws recast, I just did, Hooper, Brody, and Quint.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main characters, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think that's probably what we're gonna have to do is top 5-ish.
Okay.
We'll look at the IMDb page and see where it is. Maybe see the cast list, and we'll tackle it that way.
Okay.
But, all right, that's pretty much it for our show today. We're gonna be dipping out here, and we'll be back on Monday. I'll throw some clips up. I'll have the NFL draft, the mock draft that we did, all that kind of stuff thrown out throughout the week. But for now, you can find us on Twitter at Shane and Bri Man, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man. You can find me on Twitter at Einhorn Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bri_Man. And as you know, to quote the great Tony Stark, we've reached the end of our show, and part of the journey is the end. So we will be back next week. Enjoy the NFL draft this week, my friends. This is the most wonderful time of the year, man. I love it. I can't wait.
Wonderful time of the year.
It is.
And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. Give us a like. Help that YouTube algorithm. Smash that. Smash it. Obliterate it. But thank you. Peace out. We'll see you next Monday.
Stay classy, Planet Globe.
Peace.
Enjoy the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Fins up. Go get me Kyle Pitts and Najee Harris.
I was gonna say like the Bills are gonna trade for the number 1 overall pick.
Why? They have a quarterback.
Just because. I was just gonna say it.
At least see your worries.